just about ready to go with the 141st Scottish Cup final. On the 26th of April 1961, a certain Jock Stein led Dunfermline to one of their greatest days against the club he would lead to the greatest prize of them all just 6 years later. Dave Thompson and Charlie Dixon writing their names into the Power's history books with the goals in a 2-0 replayed final victory against a Celtic side that featured future Lisbon Lions, McNeil, Clark, Hughes and Chalmers. This fixture has a rich history in this competition. Celtic's 62nd cup final in this tournament, Dunfermline's 6th and first since 2007. They've lost 3 of them, including that year, and they've all been to today's opponents, having last won it against Hearts in '68. And given what we've seen this season, which has been just incredible across the board, we rule absolutely nothing out, James McFadden.
Absolutely, you can't rule anything out. Dunfermline have had to beat some tough opposition to get here. It's a different proposition, obviously, facing Celtic, just coming off the back of winning the league title. But they'll have belief that they can go and cause some problems, and if they get their opportunities, then they'll have to make sure they take them. You mentioned Callum Morrison, big chance early in the game against Falkirk. You wondered if that was going to come back and bite them. It didn't. They managed to get the job done. And you look at how they've set up. Oakley Booth's come in, he's doing a man-to-man job, and Callum McGregor and Dunfermline are trying to get that man-to-man press on.
Here's Forrest. Trademark one, it's a useful ball in as well, which is dealt with by John Todd. And that might well set something up for the Powers here with Andy Todd over on that far side. He's had a fabulous season. Morrison's touch lets him down and made it easy for Trusty though.
Yeah, it did, and I just wonder if the pass from Oakley Booth was better served for going for Morrison over the top. He timed his run brilliantly. There was space for him to run into. But it's, you know, good from Dunfermline. They're under a little bit of pressure. Good cross in from James Forrest. They managed to win it back and drive forward and mount a counter-attack that didn't come to anything, but showing that they're real in this game, and the intention is to be solid defensively and look to try and catch Celtic on the break if they can.
Yang Yoon Jun slip it through to Maida, who will chase absolutely everything, as we know. Is it his last game in a Celtic shirt? It was a quite remarkable goal drought he went on from January until that fortuitous opener against St Mirren in the semis here.
Yeah, I mean, fortuitous but characteristic of Dyson Maida is that he goes and puts pressure on opposition and you know, makes them panic. But the run he's been on since then has been quite incredible. I think that he has been, without doubt, the catalyst for Celtic to go on that run and eventually go on and win the championship, without a doubt for me.
Here, foul on Morrison. It's pretty simple. Celtic don't win the league without those Dyson Maida goals. As I said earlier, 8 in his last 6 games, and that's made all the difference. They hadn't been top of the league since September.
Yeah, his goals, but also his attitude, his application, that work rate, that energy that he shows. He's certainly inspired his teammates round about him and got the rewards of being, you know, the man that's more often than not put the ball in the back of the net in the big moments.
Nygren over there, and Maida could be coming up against him in the World Cup with Japan and Sweden's group, the Netherlands in there too. Mullen losing out to Yang. Breaks kindly for Nuruddin Abdullahi. Now Oakley Booth. Long ball by Fraser. Johnston underneath it. Sallow's under a little bit of pressure there. It's Morrison trying to dance his way through, looking for a free kick that he's not getting. for Nygren. Yang again. This is where Dunfermline will have to be so rigid, but Engels found a little pocket of space there, and Mullen forced to put it behind for the first corner of the final.
Yeah, you're spot on. I think when Celtic get into those areas, they have runners, they've got players that can see the pass and play the pass, and that's where Dunfermline have to be switched on. Big test for every single Dunfermline player, but in particular that back three, because he will be dragged all over the place.
Engels to take, returned from injury at just the right time for Celtic. The end of the season. Oxborough punches it away. Forrest, it's on his left foot. He caught it pretty well considering.
Yeah, he does well to work the space. James Forrest went straight at Aston Oxborough.
Well, here's McGregor, and Maida's on his bike ahead of him. Oh, he's got goal side. Was that a foul? Stephen McLean doesn't think so right now.
Oh, it's a big call. Great movement from Maida. Cam McGregor getting free of Tashan Oakley-Booth. Lovely weighted pass. Just gets the wrong side of John Todd.
There's no suggestion that this is going to be a stoppage. In fact, there is now, but they're happy with the decision here. It's a good run by Daisen Maida, and that is what John Todd will be so keen to avoid this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, he does go to put his arm across him. I think that's the right call. That's the right call from the referee.
It's a dangerous game though, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. You can't relax for a minute with Daisen Maida. The timing of the run's excellent. He does everything right, gets his body in front of John Todd. Maybe just not strong enough in the challenge of contact for me for Maida to go down. But it is a big warning for them, because normally it's when he's got space to run into, that's when he causes the problem. But such a short pass, making that move into the box.
Season, and Jeremiah Chiloko-Mullen, there will be suitors. Engels. Celtic looking for the early goal. Nygren. There's no flag against Yang. Didn't quite work it to Daisen Maida, but he's certainly flourished under Martin O'Neill as Yang. At times he's looked a bit out of place at Celtic, but under O'Neill initially in that interim spell in the autumn, and then latterly this season he's proved to be a very important player for the Celtic side.
Yeah, he has, and I think that...
Well, that's a bit dodgy, isn't it? And Sinisalo gets away with it. Morrison was claiming it was over the line. Well, once or twice, Viljami Sinisalo was almost caught out against Hearts last week. Similar situations. And that is fortunate that Celtic have been able to scramble that off the line.
Yeah, I mean, it's really poor defending initially. And a real mix-up, but what you have to say is it's outstanding from Liam Scales to recognise the danger, to get there and stop the ball from just creeping over the line. Poor defending at the start, great defending in the end.
We'll get a little look back at how close that was to crossing the line as Yang chases. He's not getting there though.
I mean, it is really close to going over the line. But again, tell you, Liam Scales does brilliantly. Long, hopeful ball. Johnston, Sinisalo, making a bit of a mess. And look at this with Scales.
Morrison gets even just a tiny bit more on that.
Yeah, I have to say, initially I did think it was more Sinisalo, but I think Alistair Johnston has to deal with that much better. He lets it bounce, the ball doesn't skid through as much as he's maybe hoping for. It looks like he's going to take control of the situation. Sinisalo's caught in no man's land, but Liam Scales alert to go and snuff out the danger.
See as well the Celtic players wearing black armbands in memory of Mike Galloway, who sadly passed away last week. Also that storied career at Hearts, amongst others. A lengthy spell at Celtic, but it came in that period in the early 90s, mid-90s, where silverware was hard to come by for this club. Certainly not the case these days. Nygren. Forrest against Fraser. He's found Nygren, he's popped up here. A lot of Benjamin Nygren's goals have come from runs like that this season. Johnston quite expecting the return, and then Guenya sees it behind.
Yeah, they have on the point of Nygren, but they can't go for goal there for me. He's got two options, better placed inside him. Arnie Engels, one of them. It's great play, great run, but when he chops back onto that left, I know that the temptation was there for him to have the shot, but it wasn't on. Too many bodies in front. There has to be a pass, square pass across the box. His teammates in better positions.
Martin O'Neill, who I think was enjoying a coffee in a quiet cafe in London when he received the call. And Brendan Rodgers left the club. O'Neill was appointed the day after. Had they not won the league, the decision not to just keep him in place for the rest of the season would have lied heavy on that, on the club's board.
No, I mean, even though they did win the league and fantastic run of results, last 7 games, 8 games, it's still a mistake that they made, but they managed to get away with it. And you just think that even another week to take them into the cup final against St Mirren could have been so different.
Yeah, they were well beaten in the end by St Mirren.
They could still have won the game, St Mirren, but they certainly wouldn't have won it as comfortably as what they did.
Wilfred Nancy lost 6 of his 8 matches in charge. Yang for Tierney. That was an excellent ball across there. No takers at the back post. There's Tierney again. Stephen Kenny talking about Tierney's fitness levels. I think they have gone up considerably. I mean, he's finishing a lot more matches than he was. He was barely getting to 90 minutes the first half of the campaign, if not longer.
Season it was, we were told, and he was probably told, that you can only play 60 minutes, so your mindset is that you're playing 60 minutes, and it's totally gone towards the end of the season. You need to remember it's horrendous time with injuries, and it does take time to get back to your best, but sometimes the best option is just to say go out and give us everything you've got and see how long you can last, rather than telling them 60 minutes will make the change, and becomes a routine and you're not able to smash through that 60-minute barrier, which he's clearly done towards the end of the season. A huge benefit to him, and also going into pre-season, you expect him to come out of that stronger for next season.
Left here with a broken jaw 9 years ago in the Scottish Cup final. Narrow win over Aberdeen here. He's back for the trophy lift, right enough. Tingwenya looking for Morrison. That's going to be a tactic Dunfermline will adopt throughout. Try and get Morrison in behind that Celtic defence, which has looked uncomfortable at times this season. Forrest. Goes for Tierney, and now Yang. Tierney. Again, he's too deep. Well, with every minute Dunfermline keeps Celtic out, the more confidence they'll gain from that.
Yeah, I mean it is an old cliche, but it is the tactic to have little goals and keep it 0-0 for the first 10. Then you move on to 20, 25. Can you get at half-time and not concede these are little goals and gains that you make in the game when you're the underdog? Certainly, Dunfermline have very nearly had the ball in the back of the net themselves.
Forrest for Johnston. Johnston rolls it to Tierney. Well, he's famously scored from outside of the penalty area inside this stadium this season. There's Kieran Tierney. Not sure where it was going, but Abdallah got in the way of it.
I think it is key for Dunfermline to have those goals and keep it tight, but you need to remember as well, Celtic score so many late goals. It's not as though they'll be frustrated by it, and it's a necessity that Celtic get an early goal. Of course, it makes life a lot more easier from a Celtic perspective. Dunfermline have to be switched on 90 plus.
Late goals have been ridiculous this season, Celtic. I mean, we know they are woven through the club's history. Even last week they left it so late. From Johnston, to be misjudged, and Maida's in. That's clever, and that is 1-0 Celtic. And if this is to be Dyson Maida's last game in a Celtic shirt, another piece of silverware would be the perfect parting gift. 1-0 Celtic.
I mean, we give him praise, Dyson Maida, for how hard he works, his speed. He doesn't often get the praise for the composure that he's been shown in front of goal of late. The pass, too much time from a Dunfermline point of view. High line, John Todd just gets caught under it. Perfectly weighted pass, but what an exquisite finish from Dyson Maida. No panic, just pure composure. Lovely pass from Alistair Johnston. You know you can overhit it because Maida will catch it. And that finish there, sublime from Dyson Maida.
17 games without a goal for Maida. He has exploded into life at just the right time. His goals won Celtic the league, and his goal here has them ahead in the Scottish Cup final. And that is exactly what Neil Lennon did not want. And I'm afraid John Todd's going to be reliving that when he goes to his bed tonight, unless Dunfermline can turn this around.
Yeah, it's tough for them because there's no pressure on the ball. They hold the line, the defensive line, so the space is in behind, and then it favours Dyson Maeda. You can't overhit it. He just gets caught under it. It's not a howler from him. He just misreads it. You have to say, the pass, the run, the finish, absolutely outstanding from Dyson Maeda, and that's what he does these days.
He's not always at that composure. It's always one of these strikers who, the less time he has to think about it, the better. Remember his one-on-one in the tail end of last year's final against Aberdeen, which could have won the trophy for Celtic, could have been so different.
I think some of the goals he scored, you even think of the Falkirk one, he goes and puts pressure to win it back. It's just such a composed finish from distance, no panic, good technique, and that's something he's shown.
Nice flip back by Engels, gets it back from Maeda. Johnston on the stretch, but it's with Forrest. It's Johnston. Lee Booth deals with it, as does Fraser, but this is looking ominous right now for Dunfermline Athletic, you would have to say.
I mean, you know, the aim is clearly not to concede at any point, but certainly early in the game. And it's important for Dunfermline from their point of view that they don't go and get too excited and force it and try and rush it or feel sorry for themselves, because if they do and let Celtic get into the rhythm, then it could be a long afternoon for them. I'm sure he would have told them that before the game, that look, there is a high possibility Celtic are going to take the lead. You have to maintain your composure, don't get too down by it.
Team that scores the first goals only lost the Scottish Cup final 4 times out of the last 37. Last season, of course, the most recent example. Yang's in here, and Oxford delighted that he's put it the wrong side of the post.
I think the offside flag was up as well. It's great play from Engels, just backing in, waiting for the run from Yang.
Yeah,
I mean, it is quite tight, I have to say, but it's the wrong option and the wrong execution from Yang. But again, it's another little sighter.
There was an Alfie Dorrington own goal at Celtic in front last season, and the only other 3 times in the last 37. Aberdeen against Celtic in 2017. And Andreas Skerla for Dunfermline, and then Jimmy Calderwood's side, 1-0 up against Celtic. He went on to win 3-1. Larsson's double. Celtic took the lead against Rangers in 2002 and lost that one. And more often than not, the team that scores first lifts the trophy. Oxborough there was back at Motherwell last weekend, part of their matchday squad, so he couldn't play in the playoff semi-final second leg. Nice turn by Kieran Ngwenya.
It's difficult as it needs to stick for the Fairmont. He goes up there, Callum Morrison backing into Austin Trusty. Can't get it under control. Seems to be waves of attack from Celtic at the minute.
McGregor. Tierney. Here's Yang. Well, it is all Celtic. There's not really much Dunfermline can do about it.
there's not. I mean, their intention is to go man for man and try and stop at the source, but Callum McGregor just getting clear at Oakley Booth and throwing the strings in and around the box. That's a good opportunity for Yang.
With it. Decent away. Delight. Maida. And by Charlie Gilmore, who's barely got a kick in this game so far. Scales over the top. Here's Yang against Chiloko Mullen. Well, they found themselves in terrific positions, either side of the penalty area, attacking areas.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great little ball over the top from Scales. Good run from Yang. Poor execution once again from him, though.
He's got to have a good think about this, Neil Lennon, because it feels right now that this cup final could get away from them pretty quickly.
Yeah, it could, but it's difficult because Celtic are in their rhythm now. They're managing to get good territory in and around the Dunfermline box.
From what the guys are gleaning down there, he's concerned that his team's a little bit too passive in this match. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough because they're set up to go and try and particularly nullify Callum McGregor, getting control of the game. Oakley Booth has gone on McGregor to try and stop him, but they play it so quick and the movement's good. It's very difficult then to get close and really put some pressure on.
Highlights of this cup final tonight, 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. And tomorrow, off the ball from midday on BBC Radio Scotland. We've also got that playoff to come on Monday night, the final domestic match of the season. It's evenly poised between St Mirren and Partick Thistle after the first leg at Firhill on Thursday at 1-1. It's live on the radio, highlights on the telly to come on Monday.
Just a great example there. Oakley Booth is going further forward, so Abdullahi was the one that's then charged with going and stopped Callum McGregor. But there's a huge space, Arnie Engels finds it. Miss Callum McGregor, go to Engels, who's got time to turn and drive forward. So it is difficult for Dunfermline to go and really get that pressure on and be aggressive. Maybe have an Oakley Booth further up through the middle, bring that physicality to the attack.
They're always taking a chance with Maida. Puzzling around you. Maida waiting in the middle here, and Yang's in there too. Here's Forrest. That's an excellent ball as well, drifting it in, just a bit too high for Yang. Maida had gone to the near post. This is as comfortable as Celtic have been in a game of football in a long time, I can remember. Survived that early opportunity for Callum Morrison, but Neil Lennon is very animated down there at the bottom of the picture, just out of view now.
He's wanting them to try and get a press on and go and win the ball back, but it's very difficult. There you go, Negrin's been playing more advanced, finds the space, then it's Engels who's in space.
Yang for Tierney. There it goes, John Todd. Half an hour in, Celtic with a 1-0 lead. Talking about how comfortable Celtic have been, they've not put together too many 90-minute performances this season, so that would give the Pars a little bit of hope, assuming they don't concede again during this tornado they're up against. Ball, Morrison gives chase, Sinisalo's there.
Yeah, that's just a small example of, I don't know if that pass had to go as early for Morrison. I know he's made the run, Matty Todd stepped into the game, can he just drive and get his team up the pitch?
Engels. Goal side of Abdullahi. Here's Yang. Engels gets it back. Right by Nguenya. McGregor. Side of Engels that time, and John Todd's long ball goes all the way through back into Celtic possession.
Yeah, I mean, it's just giving it back to Celtic for them to try and mount another attack.
Got to try and stay within touching distance, but it could be more difficult here. But Oxborough, an orthodox clearance. There's two in behind momentarily. Mullen had two stabs at that. Now Charlie Gilmore's got a little bit of space to work in, and that's been at a premium. Do them any harm just to get some passes together, knock it about, even if they're not going anywhere. It's for Morrison. A little bit unfortunate. He seems to be giving Trusty a bit of a hard time. It's Callum Morrison. On the rare occasions they've managed to engage him.
Yeah, I mean, he has a threat. Obviously Callum Morrison prefers to go on in behind, but even those ones where looks to be favouring Trusty, he's managing to get himself in and cause enough of a problem. But the issue for Dunfermline is they can't spend too much time on the ball. They're not able to get it under control in those positions. Celtic recovery is good. Actually, over the last maybe 5 or so minutes, they've got nowhere near the. I mean, they haven't been able to get anywhere near anyway. But you see McGregor in a bit more space, Engels is in a bit more space, and they're managing to have a big impact on that. Dunfermline, and lack of the Dunfermline press.
Scarcely could Martin O'Neill have thought 21 years on from his last Scottish Cup lift that he'd be back here in charge of Celtic in the final of this tournament. Ryder's after it again. Wenya in the right place. Forrest, Yang, Fraser clears. Now one back by Trusty. McGregor. Again. Engels. Oh, wonderful! A wonderful goal! Fitting for a cup final! And Arne Engels might have won the trophy for Celtic already. 10 minutes shy of the break. Oxborough rooted.
Yeah, they're just too much. Celtic midfield. Engels and McGregor in particular finding space, impacting the game. It's McGregor that steps in with a quick forward pass to Forrest, and then the space just opens up. Simple little pass here. Engels, we know how well he strikes the ball. There is a bit of movement in it. I think it starts going towards Oxborough. There's some bodies in front of him. It's a good strike from Arne Engels. It's a time and space, you know, no way, and I'll be disappointed. There's no attempt to put pressure on the ball there. It's been really, really comfortable for Celtic in this first half.
Celtic's record signing. He might have put this beyond Dunfermline Athletic.
He's another one that's been pivotal for me in the turn of form for Celtic, getting in, helping calm McGregor out. Not eye-catching stuff, but I think you notice Arne Engels, what he brings to the team when he's not in it. And certainly we know he's more than capable, outstanding technique. I think he was a big loss for Celtic.
He hasn't always convinced the Belgium international off the back of that record move from Augsburg. As Yang comes forward, here's Tierney. Dunfermline are being pulled from pillar to post here.
It's time and space. They're getting overrun, outplayed. I think Tierney had a chance to get his shot away there. Little hesitation, just knocks the ball outside him. But Arne Engels with the pass, and you're right, he has come in for criticism. Like many Celtic players this season, I think most of it's down to the price tag. Most of it, he's still young, he's still improving. Important part in this title-winning team.
Yeah, Johnston coming back, Maida returning to form. Engels. It's fallen into place for them. There were many players, former players, considered Celtic legends, who thought they'd no chance of retaining the league title. And went on to do just that. Been chasing for 8 months. The last team to come from 2 goals down and win the Scottish Cup final was Celtic, but that was back in 1931. So, as well as what looks like a vibrant Celtic side, they've also got history against them through the Pars. It's all falling flat for them to that wonderful run to the final. They knocked out Hibs, knocked out Aberdeen, knocked out Falkirk.
Yeah, I know there's time left in the game, but it'd be a miracle for Dunfermline to win this game. Celtic are so comfortable, so dominant. You feel that there's still improvement even in the performance.
First booking of the final goes to Charlie Gilmore. Was an unused sub in St Johnstone's League Cup final win in 2021. Didn't make the squad for the Scottish Cup final that season. Forrest. A bit of respite for Dunfermline now as Andrew Todd is brought to the ground by Trusty.
Yeah, it's better, and I think it has to happen more often where the Dunfermline striker, if it's Morrison up the booth or Todd, that can get in and just take the pressure off. The problem they have is it's about 30 yards from their own goal. They need to get higher up the pitch. Easier said than done, I have to say.
Is there a way back into this for Dunfermline? Those two are at it again. That was Engel's first goal, incidentally, since certainly is a place he's scored goals regularly at. Celtic have been here regularly down the years. It's his 7th of the season. He'll want more next term, because he's got that in him. Penalty last week was crucial, wasn't it, at that point, because Hearts get to half-time 1-0 up, then it could well be a very different outcome. There's Yang. Tierney. He scuffed at that. He's annoyed because he had a couple waiting. Neil Lennon was contemplating changes, but perhaps he's had a look at the clock and thought maybe we'll just get to half-time and reorganise. The problem is Celtic will keep going. If it goes to 3, it will be game over. Chris Kane is being spoken to down there, so we've also got Zach Rudden, I think. We'll keep an eye on that. Young for Nygren, who might well have been played onside by John Todd there.
Dunfermline haven't really offered much, but they need a presence up front. They need someone that can get hold of the ball and take the pressure off. I'm not surprised it's Rudden or Kane. I'm surprised Chris Kane didn't start the game, to be honest with you, but I wonder if he's just carrying a little knock. I'm not surprised that Lennon's looking. I know that people look and say, you know, they have to get closer in midfield and be more aggressive in the press, but they have to get a hold of the ball. They have to get someone that can go and take the pressure off, be that physical presence up front.
It's going to be 1 minute minimum off, added on at the end of the first half here. This is as dominant a performance as we've seen from a team in a Scottish Cup final, certainly in recent years. Celtic had a lot of possession last term, but Aberdeen had opportunities in the game. Celtic are north of 80% in the possession stakes at the moment.
Much better from Dunfermline.
I mean, if they get the next goal, James, then It's a different kettle of fish, but
yeah,
it's easier said than done.
Look, as difficult as that looks from this point, the Fairmen have to believe that getting a goal can change the game. And you don't know what the reaction's going to be, but they have to take part. I feel like barring, you know, the chance for Callum Morrison, they've not really taken part in this cup final, and that will be, you know, the biggest, you know, disappointment from Neil Lennon. I know he said his players have been too passive. It can be difficult, but they just haven't got anywhere near Celtic.
A great turn by Yang. It's a clever ball as well, and James Forrest goes into the net. He's only regretting he's not taking the ball with him.
Yeah, it's brilliant from Yang. Little drop of the shoulder. Chillicoe Mullen buys it. Too easy. But that pass, outstanding. Forrest probably just not alert to it initially. Robbie Fraser, you have to say, defends it well. That's excellent from Yang.
It's half-time, and it is all Celtic. Martin O'Neill's team lead 2-0 at the break. What can Dunfermline do? The 22nd time the clubs have met in the Scottish Cup. Celtic have prevailed 15 times. Dunfermline just the twice. It's the 5th time they've met in the final, the 3rd this century. There was also a League Cup final in 2006 between them. Celtic won comfortably. They are heading for a comfortable victory as things stand, but Scott Brown was saying there, James, brave changes by Neil Lennon, but you kind of feel they had to be made.
Yeah, brave changes with nothing to lose, really, because, you know, the first half performance miles away from what he expects from his team. Not that he should be coming here and dominating Celtic, but put up a little bit of a fight. I think you see the difference early. The ball comes up to Rudden, it sticks, he flicks it round to Kane. They managed to get themselves up the pitch and get a touch of the ball. So he had to make those changes, and he'll be hoping to get a big response from his team just by even having the presence of Kane, who's been outstanding. Rudden's been a big loss for them. Just been up there and maybe inspire the teams, the players around them. Andrew Todd being one of them, Matty Todd another one. But they have to go for it. They have to go and try and get that next goal and see if it makes a big difference.
Fraser takes. Top out to Abdullah here. Chillicoe Mullen. Well initially, and then flies in the challenge with Kieran Tierney, who concedes the corner in the end. And a first of the match for Dunfermline Athletic comes early in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, it's just determination that gets them through. Lovely bit of skill here. The challenge as well. Much better start to the half of Dunfermline.
Matty Todd to take. He's standing in the quarters against Aberdeen. Kane couldn't quite get the flick onto it. It would have been very interesting to see what would have happened had he managed to get anything on that.
That's Abdullah. That's a lovely little ball in from Matty Todd. Abdullah goes and attacks it. He just can't get it in target. He's running back the way. That's a big chance for Dunfermline.
They both had an opportunity there, haven't they?
Yeah.
Positive start to the second 45 by the Pars, at least. Here's Gilmore. Todd. Rudden. As it comes, and Scales was there. Listen to the roar from the Dunfermline supporters. We've seen more from them in the opening 3 minutes of the second half than we saw in the opening 45.
Absolutely, it's a dream start for them. Exactly what Neil Lennon's looking for. Rudden and Kane trying to link up. Been more aggressive in the press, closing the spaces off for Celtic.
Andrew Todd. He's going to get a chance to put this in the box again. It's taken by Sini Shallow, and Rudden slaps his hand on the pitch in frustration.
Yeah, but he's there. He can't get a clean header on it, but he's there to get his head on the end of it.
the message from Neil Lennon was not to leave any regrets out on the pitch there. Almost fell for Gilman at the edge of the box. McGregor gets it away.
That would 100% be the message from Neil Lennon. Don't leave any regrets. Believe in yourself as well as a team. They're young players, but they're good young players. Go and give the best version of yourself in this second half, and certainly that's the start they've made.
Going to get a free kick here. Fraser upended. Celtic finally have something to think about.
Yeah, and I mean that's Fraser. You've seen driving forward, Chillicothe-Mullen on the other side, certainly getting higher up the pitch, coming from a bit of pressure. Celtic just clearing it up the pitch, and Dunfermline managing to get a touch of the ball and mount an attack.
We finished the championship season so strongly. Dunfermline just didn't have quite enough to finish above Arbroath, though they did knock them out in the playoffs. Lost out to Partick Thistle. Disappointing for them. Matty Todd with it. The header's well over, but already we are seeing the impact of both Chris Kane and Zach Rudden.
Absolutely, it's night and day the start to this second half of how they performed in the first. We know Matty Todd's delivery is outstanding, plenty of bodies in there. Just a little bit of belief, but a lot more belief certainly than the first half from Dunfermline. Giving Celtic something to think about. And if Celtic thought they were going to come out and just cruise this second half, then Dunfermline are showing that they're going to show some fight, try and get back into the game.
First spell on top in the match, and you feel given they're 2 behind, Dunfermline will have to try and make hay while the sun shines here. Because Celtic will come at them at some point.
Yeah, the bare minimum for Dunfermline in this second half is to show some fighting spirit. Just get yourself into the game and put up a fight. Certainly started with that intention. Not to say that Celtic won't have their moments, of course they will.
Chillicothe-Mullen did well to get back to his feet. The ref's going to bring it back anyway. They won just 8 of their opening 25 league games of the season. The Tars, with their run at the back end of the campaign, coming too late to finish any higher than 4th. But like Falkirk, who they beat in the semis, they have to take inspiration from the journey the Bairns have been on. They are too big a club to be languishing as they have been for years. Abdullahi with a challenge there on Yang. Forrest can't get through.
He's got to release it, Yang. Forrest, there's acres of space on the right-hand side.
Kane is rugby tackled to the ground by Trusty, who's going to be booked here. He thinks it should have gone the other way.
It's what he brings, Chris Kane, in this to run. I mean, I think Trusty does have a point. He steps across him.
Started both St Johnstone's sensational cup double victories in 2021, did Kane. Fraser. Kane didn't win the header, but comes out to Yang. Kearney, so, cup winner in Northern Ireland is Kearney, one of the half-time subs. Cliftonville beat Linfield in 2024. He scored in the final last season, but were beaten by Dungannon Swifts. Effectively a 4-3-3 Dunfermline going within this second half, and at the moment it's working. Trouble is, they're 2 down. Mentioned in the first half, James, it has been a problem for Celtic this season. From minute 1 to 90, there has seldom been a game where they've been on top for its entirety.
Yeah, and certainly, you know, the start of the second half shows that they haven't had it their own way this second half, but you feel that they're in a good place to be able to, you know, adapt. I think you could see that even at the start of the game when the Fairmen are going and being aggressive with it, man-to-man pressing. Cal McGregor couldn't get him on the ball, but he manages to find space, and I think that'll be the same again. You look at the strength of the bench as well. When they make those changes, they all seem to have an impact on the team, and it might have to be the case today as well. Look, they're in a great position, they're 2-0 up, they're totally dominant in that first half, and as much as the Fairmen have been better, they're still, you know, comfortable Celtic.
I think Martin O'Neill's going to react to what he's seen since the turnaround with Kelechi Iheanacho about to come on to replace James Forrest. Iheanacho made an impact in the semi. Whilst he hasn't been far from a regular starter, hasn't started a game for Celtic since coming back from injury, and he scored some really important goals for them. They run to their 56th league title. Nygren. There's Yang. Engels on at the moment, and it comes, and Oxborough gets his gloves on it. Maida lurking.
Great play from Celtic, quick passing and moving.
Engels, who got Celtic's second. Fantastic finish it was. Both Celtic goals were worthy of the stage. Skills gets the free kick. Sore one for Liam Scales.
Yeah, takes one in the Achilles there, and Chris Kane, and as much as it's given a foul away, it's putting pressure on. It's, you know, letting them know they're in a game.
He's okay. Signed a new deal this season with Scales as Iheanacho appears to come on for Forrest. He leaves the pitch with his team in an excellent position to help add to his incredible trophy haul. In comes Iheanacho, who's come up with some spectacular cameos this season. Alphonse Amade is going to come on for Dunfermline as well. And he will replace Abdoulaye. Started the semi-final, did Amade. The Mozambican.
Yeah, he's on. He's one that wants to get on the ball and play forward passes. Abdoulaye's in there for his physicality. Some slight change. As much as the formation won't change, just different profile of player. And Ian Nacho, you listen to the reaction from the Celtic crowd to him coming on. He's been such an important player when he's been fit and available. I know he wants to start more games, but it seems like just the ideal player to bring off the bench, to get a hold of the ball, to get chances. He's got that intelligence and clearly an eye for goal, great composure in front of goal.
Yeah, he's also someone who's got in on the act on the late heroics at times this campaign. Celtic scored 11 league goals after the 87-minute mark this season, including 2 last week. So the most telling effect of all. Himself scored late ones at Kilmarnock, at Dundee and Motherwell. The latter caused plenty controversy, still being spoken about to this day. Not that Ian Nacho was complaining. The pressure on his shoulders at that moment. That penalty doesn't go in, Celtic don't win the league. The way it played out, certainly. Here come the Pars, Andrew Todd. Sidney Shallows to slap it away.
Yeah, I don't think he was going for goal there, Andrew Todd, but enough to trouble Sinisalo and goal.
Yeah, we're right behind that.
Yeah.
If he misjudges it, it could quite easily have gone in.
Yeah, I think he's going for the cross there, but almost turns into the chip towards that back post area. Sinisalo had to deal with it.
A 5th league title in succession for Celtic that they sealed last weekend. They've won 14 of the last 15. Kane will get a second chance. Matty Todd. Kearney's balls, Rudden's header. Sangwenya. Gilmore. Samadi, oh, he's hit it well, but off target. But again, it's another signal of intent from this Dunfermline team that's woken up for the second half.
No, it's great play, patient play, temptation just to throw it into the box for Fraser and Gilmore. Ahmad just picks it up, one thought in his mind, take a good first touch, get a shot at goal, scales out trying to close the angle. I think Sinisalo had it covered anyway, but it's good play. It's been a much improved performance in this second half from Dunfermline.
Celtic victory the last time these two met in the Scottish Cup final in 2007. It was also Dunfermline manager Neil Lennon's final game for Celtic. He captained Gordon Strachan's men to the silverware. There was a Jean-Joël Perry-Doumbé goal that won it. 5 of the 90 to play. After it, Scales gets the touch though. be careful. Maida all over him like a rash.
Must be a nightmare to play against. Kearney thinks he's won that race, he's got time. Maida just doing what he does and not giving it up.
I don't know how many kilometres he runs during a match. I'd love to know the answer to that. Do you know?
I'll tell you, it's a lot. I don't know exactly, but it'll be a lot. And it's not even the distance, it's the intensity. High intensity running from him must be through the roof.
He does that right to the bitter end of games.
I don't think I've ever seen him jog.
Here he is. Well, wasn't his finest moment. Might not matter.
No, but it won't. But he gets space and there's time, and the cross is there. You know exactly what he's doing. He's trying to just flash it across. Iheanacho, Engels has made the run as well, and you've got Yang all beyond that back line. Really, I mean, it doesn't have to be precise. He can just pass that along the ground. He's not having to bend it round any defenders. It's not difficult. Although I've never tried to do it running as fast as what he does.
Yeah. Fair point.
It's easy when you're as slow as me.
Your pace got you where you needed to be on many occasions. A few Macedonian defenders will testify to that. Oh, hello. Scales has the tricks out. And Yang is onto it. Iheanacho's waiting. Flags up. Offside given. Iheanacho's asking if it was him, but it looked like Yang was the one who was off.
Yeah, I thought in the build-up that Yang didn't have to get involved. I thought Iheanacho was running onto it. And it's a lovely pass from Migrant.
Oh,
yeah.
Now.
He does look offside. Iheanacho is certainly onside, and I don't know if Yang has to get in the way. Iheanacho's running through there. I mean, he's not getting on it to be selfish and put the ball in the back of the net himself. He gets his head up, and it's a lovely little square pass. I just don't know how much Yang had to get involved there.
Well, Iheanacho's definitely running onto it. Was Yang just offside? And he was. Confirmation of that. So it's the correct on-field decision. The assistant on this near side, Frank Connor, got that spot on.
Yeah, I mean, he looked well off. I know he wasn't well off in the end, but he goes too early, Yang, and again, I'm going to say, he doesn't need to get involved. Iheanacho's beyond Ngwenya. And we're speaking about how much of an impact he's had. You would fancy him to put the ball in the back of the net. Such composure. When you look at where Iheanacho is, he gets the other side of Ngwenya by the time that ball is passed.
Yeah, I remember him coming through as a youngster at Manchester City. He actually played against Celtic in a game at the Etihad in the Champions League. Brendan Rodgers was the Celtic manager, and that was early in the Guardiola era at Man City. He's never really settled. His career injuries have hampered him, of course. And injuries have hampered his time at Celtic. He actually scored in that match against Celtic. 1-1 draw in Manchester. So Middlesbrough last season had been on loan from Sevilla. FA Cup final winner, Leicester City. He's got the class, it's just about getting him match fit. Because if they can get him fit enough to start matches, he's going to be a serious weapon, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you can see the sharpness is there. You look at, Yang going and taking the ball in that offside position, but he's behind Ngwenya. Ngwenya's quick, and he manages to get the other side. So he does have that sharpness, and getting him fully fit. Huge player.
Real feeling Celtic are beginning to boss things again here. Scales misjudged that. Here's Kane. It was excellent initially by Kane. The slightly heavy touch led to him having to slide into that challenge, and that smacked right back off him.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Chris Kane because it's wholeheartedly into the challenge, ball right off the face.
Ouch.
Oh, that is not what you want.
Dazed and confused.
He'll be glad to know it won't affect his looks.
He's making sure he's okay, because that was full force, wasn't it?
He'll be fine. He'll be fine, Chris Kane.
It was bitter disappointment for Dunfermline last week, wasn't it, James? They'd that huge target of promotion back to the Premiership, where they as a club, their supporters, they've got such a huge fan base, as we can see today, a mass exodus from the city of Dunfermline coming to this cup final. They belong in the top flight, the size of the club.
Yeah.
I mean, you only belong there if you get there.
They're a club that should be there.
Yeah,
in terms
like
of the size of the club, yes. And preparations for the second leg, Aston Oxford having to go back, and it's nothing against Billy Terrell that went in goal, but when you have had a goalkeeper that's been so good and reliable, such a good signing, then it does disrupt your preparations.
And inevitably, if Oxford's there, you wonder if he would have dealt with that goal last week
potentially.
better. Yeah. There's Nygren, and Oxford, the aforementioned, is on to it again.
I just think it's even familiarity with the setup. When you know you've got a player that's been playing behind you so many games, it can have an impact in the preparation.
Yeah, because that Chalmers goal last week, it looked just like a little bit of hesitancy that led to it.
Yeah, and maybe that's just lack of game time, particularly for goalkeepers, which we don't really ever take into account. It's tough for any player, but your goalkeeping, you're the last line of defence. Any mistake you make, it's magnified, and it can have a big impact. Continuity in goal is massively important.
Here's Yang. Going all over him. Right, I mentioned Logan Chalmers. He'll be hoping to be on the victorious side on Monday night when they go to St Mirren. The playoff final is poised at 1-1 ahead of the second leg in Paisley. Live on the radio, highlights later on in the evening, and then next Saturday attention turns to the national team. Huge summer. Curaçao are the visitors under Dick Advocat. Here's Johnston for Celtic. Away by Robbie Fraser. Incredible, I think it was 6 months ago we were standing or sitting this very spot, James, when Scotland qualified for the World Cup finals, and in 3 weeks' time they'll be taking on Haiti in Foxborough, and their return to the biggest tournament of the lot.
Yeah, what a night. Go a long way to beat that game, Liam. Hopefully those can turn up. And
Nygren for Iheanacho. Come off a hand there, it's still Iheanacho! The cup is going back to Parkhead. He's been the super sub so often in this wonderful end of the season. And Kelechi Iheanacho settles it.
I mean, there was a shout for a handball. Chillicothe Mullen when he slides across, but Iheanacho, I mean, it's a goal you see in training. He's so calm, dancing in and out. The defenders, and he just felt that when he came on, how hungry he would be to get himself a goal and get on the score sheet. He does brilliantly, just quick feet, desperate to put it in the back of the net, and that settles it. Dunfermline, good start to the second half. Certainly Celtic have come strong again, and no surprise that Iheanacho has the ball in the back of the net once again.
talented Nigerian ensures that Celtic will get their hands on the cup again. They've won it more than anyone else. Beaten in last year's final. Well, they're going to get their trophy back now. That is beyond question. Meantime, Sebastian Tenekte will replace Yang for the final 15-16 minutes of what's going to be a canter now. They're also going to take Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain on for Nygren. Former Arsenal and Liverpool man makes his way onto the pitch. He arrived at Celtic after a couple of years at Besiktas in Turkey, where he fell out of favour under Giovanni van Bronckhorst. He scored here before. That 2-2 draw with Scotland for England there in the qualifiers for the 2018 World Cup. And indeed at Celtic Park in England colours, friendly. Tenekte on as well. It's been a strange season for Sebastian Tenekte, the Tunisia international. He's been in and out of the team. He's made an impact every now and again. On other occasions he's flattered to deceive, but I feel there's definitely something there. Celtic signings this season have worked. Indeed, the January signings, nowhere to be seen, really.
Yeah, I think Tenekte's one. Again, he looks better when he comes on as a sub, as opposed to starting the game. Actually, Chamberlain, I mean, he normally comes on for Callum McGregor or to play in a deeper role, but he's playing more advanced, just straight swap for Nygren. Back to his roots almost, more of an attacker in his younger days. Oxlade-Chamberlain.
In the opening 15-20 minutes of the second half, Neil Lennon would have been much happier with what he was seeing from his players, but you always knew at some point Celtic would wrestle the game back.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be disappointed with the performance in the first half. You can put it down to maybe the occasion getting the better of them. Celtic were really good, but certainly they've shown a better reaction to the second half. But you're right, you were speaking about Celtic and putting in a 90-minute performance. You just know that Dunfermline had made the changes, they've gone 2 up, they've been aggressive, they've tried to get the ball forward, they have caused problems, but you just feel that Celtic, this team, they just figure it out, they find a way. Iheanacho coming on has certainly helped spark that as well. And it was always going to be a monumental task for Dunfermline to get themselves back into the game in terms of having a realistic chance of winning it. But you expected Celtic would find a way again to get back control in the game, and they've done that.
Josh Cooper's coming on for Dunfermline. There's not much anyone can do. 12 and a half of the 90 left to play and you're 3-0 behind. And it's the first half that's killed them ultimately, Dunfermline. And you can forgive them, championship side up against the country's champions, a team that's won the top flight so often. It's the toughest challenge in Scottish football. You can understand them being a bit like the rabbit in the headlights there in that first half. Well, that's when it got away from them. Celtic have absolutely taken advantage of it. Run by Chiloko Amalin. He'll be doing well to hang on to him in summer. He's going to have top flight interest, I would have thought.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Another good young player. Full of them young players in the team, great potential. There's one coming off, and Andrew Todd.
Replaced by Josh Cooper. Mullins feature. Gwenya has been spoken about the dispatches for a move, and interest in Andrew Todd as well, I would have thought. Cooper's waiting in the middle for this, and there are others arriving. Cooper, he's just on! He's pulled one back! Maybe, just maybe, Dunfermline are not done yet.
Well, what an impact from Cooper. Andrew Todd will be sitting on the bench thinking, I wish I was still on for that opportunity, but it's great play from Dunfermline. Chris Kane and Rudden linking up. It's a good run into the box. I actually thought Rudden was maybe thinking about getting the shot away, but it's a lovely little cut back. Cooper in the right place at the right time. Just sweep it into the net, and at least they've given their fans, if they don't manage to mount a comeback, something to shout about in the Scottish Cup final.
Offside check ongoing at the moment. Josh Cooper, that stand, it's his 7th of the season. Joined the club from Stirling Albion. So that goal is going to stand. It is onside, so Cooper has won back for the Pars with 10 to play. This is not what anyone wants to see right now when you think about the big summer we've just been talking about.
No, it is not.
He was caught there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
The view from the officials is that the players were crossing paths there rather than a foul against Dunfermline. It's a special moment for Cooper, for sure. Celtic will win the Scottish Cup by the looks of things, but for him personally, you can now say he scored in a Scottish Cup final.
Absolutely.
Right in front of the Pars fans as well.
Exactly, and also he'd have been sent on by that man, Neil Lennon, saying go and have an impact in the game. Well, maybe take him off. One touch, one goal. It doesn't get much better than that, does it?
Well, Scales was passing the ball thinking Tierney was back in the game. He wasn't. If Dunfermline scored again, then they will be back in the game. Tierney's back on for now, but Marcelo Serrachi is going to replace him at the next break in play.
It's not often you say it, but it's another one that comes on at left back and has such a positive influence on the team when he comes on, Serrachi.
I thought he did well last week when he came on against Hearts. Obviously Celtic went on to win the game and the league.
It says a lot about Serrachi as a person as well, because he's had to play second fiddle. Kieran Tierney comes on, his attitude's always spot on. Desperate to get involved, he'll drive forward, he'll go into midfield, he'll take the ball. Just a real positive energy that he brings to the team when he comes on.
And he's on loan from Boca Juniors. I think Celtic are keen to keep him. I'm not so sure. I mean, you're talking about he's sitting there in his role as the deputy, but I'm not sure that would be enough to convince him to hang around. Tierney's first choice. Here come Dunfermline again. Kearney. We've got Kane and Rudden waiting. It's too high for Kane, but Gilmour's going to pick it up. Back in by Fraser. Away by Tierney. There's Chilukwa Mullen. Kane for Rudden. Dunfermline are knocking on the door here. They've got a corner, and if they score now, what an interesting climax we are set for.
Well, the goal's given them belief that they can get themselves back into it. Response has been excellent. Putting Celtic under a fair bit of pressure here.
Matty Todd, so often he's delivered this season. with here. Mullen does win the header, but it's not threatening Sinisalo.
It's that straight delivery once again, just clipped in, driven in by Matty Todd. It's up early but just can't get it down.
Chris Kane's down out of your picture. Kieran Tierney's afternoon's over. It's going to be a League and Cup double by the looks of things at the end of his first season back. It was Greg Taylor who was the left back a year ago in the final. And comes Sarachi. And the Uruguayan. You just wonder if Neil Lennon will be, when he speaks to us afterwards, if he'll talk about having regrets about the starting 11 when you think of the impact Chris Kane's made.
Yeah, but I think that when you go in hindsight, you're always looking and saying, you know, could you have changed it? I think that, you know, the game plan to go and put Oakley Booth on, Callum McGregor, try and stop that influence. And I can understand it, but you can see the difference having Kane and Rudden together. It doesn't happen very often to go and be a nuisance most of the time, that focal point, non-stop running and be a threat and get your team up the pitch. Maybe it was just a case of try and keep it either at 0-0, 1-0, give yourself a chance to then throw them on. You had to put them on earlier than they would have liked, but I think that you can always regret things in hindsight.
Chamberlain looking for Iheanacho, goes on to it. The quality of goal in this cup final has been excellent, hasn't it?
It has, and you know, Dunfermline coming out in the second half made it more of a contest. There has been some good bits of quality in there.
Engels, now Maida. Well, if he does leave Celtic this summer, he is going to be so hard to replace. He's not. I'm not sure how you go about finding someone who's going to offer the same as Daisen Maida does.
You're not getting like for like, that's for sure. Such a unique player and how he plays the game and the impact he has in the team.
So Martin O'Neill talking about Maida earlier in the season, you know, let the cat out of the bag about him missing out on a move to Wolfsburg in Germany last summer, and he was playing like somebody who wanted away and was annoyed that he hadn't got his move. But my goodness, he screwed the nut at the right time for Celtic as the season's gone on.
Yeah, he did, but what I would say to that is so were the whole team. They were underperforming. It always was highlighted because it looked like he wanted a move, but what's everybody else's excuse then?
Did by Engels, been too much on it though. As it stands, there's going to be 4 minutes added on at the end of this cup final. Can Dunfermline give themselves hope? Celtic so close to yet another major honour. And this has been far from a vintage season, but it could end up being a double winning season. to the mere mortals, that is history. To Celtic, it's clearly success. But when they look back at all the glory that they've had in the last 15 years, this is not going to go down as a vintage season for them, despite the fact it's going to end with 2 trophies by the look of it.
Yeah, I remember when a double used to be an unbelievable achievement.
Yeah.
But look, they deserve a lot of credit because it looked like they were out of the title race. They looked like, you know, they could get themselves over the line when it mattered, but they managed to turn that around.
Well done. It's a sight of goal that didn't catch the shot. And that made it simple for Sinisalo, and Dunfermline really needed that to go in, you feel?
Yeah, they did, to make it potentially nervy ending to the game. They did, but he doesn't really ever catch it. Rodden, never troubling Sinisalo.
One into the first of the 4 at the end. Martin O'Neill has won this tournament 3 times before, beating Kilmarnock, Dunfermline and Dundee United in the finals. They lost the 2002 final to Rangers, and in 2003 they lost to Cali Thistle. For John Robertson and Dennis Wyness' goal. And generally, this has been a tournament O'Neill's enjoyed. He says himself, it's the final he lost that weighs in his mind more than the 3 that he won. As Cooper swings it in, away by Trusty. Here's Gilmore. It's loose, it's Maida, and Celtic can finish with a flourish as they did last week. Maida's found Kelechi Iheanacho. And Gwenya's done well. You can see he's trying to suck the defender in and hold him off. It didn't work though.
Yeah, he just couldn't get away. Maida.
That would be the other way around, it would have been different.
Well, absolutely. There was no one catching Maida there, but Iheanacho just didn't have the pace to get away from Gwenya there. Maida does brilliantly.
Fraser for Amadi. Flicked by Kearney, but Johnston lets it go. And that gives us a perfect opportunity to find out who James McFadden's man of the match is.
I mean, it's not been easy, I'm not going to lie, but I think that for his work rate in the midfield area, scored a goal. I'm going to go for Arne Engels. I think a lot of the work that he does goes unnoticed and maybe underappreciated. This is one thing we know he's absolutely got. Yeah, you could look at Oxford, could have gone and make a dive for it, but great technique. I think his energy, his industry in the midfield. So for me, he's been my man of the match today, Arne Engels.
Well, it's been a tough old route to the final for Celtic. They made hard work of it. Even Auchinleck Talbot were almost knocked out. They were seconds from being knocked out by Dundee. And they made the absolute most of it. Of course, taken to extra time by St Mirren when 2-0 up in the semis. Tenekti. And Oxley Chamberlain was waiting. Engels digs it out. It's an advantage for Celtic. Sebastian Tenekti. Oh, and Maida was there. Sarachi is as well. Maida's waiting, pull the trigger there.
That's a vital header at the back post. Kearney. Massively important to stay switched on. Good positioning. And he just takes it off. Maida. And Sarachi, no surprise, he's getting up in the end there. And another player, I haven't even mentioned him today, Arthur Johnston. Him coming back for Celtic's been absolutely huge.
Yeah, not just defensively, but offensively as well. He is a really important player for the Celtic side. He was out for such a long time in that botched comeback. They're just about there again. And once again, the Scottish Cup belongs to Celtic. Smile on the face of Alistair Johnston, wasn't the case a year ago. His penalty saved by Dimitar Mitov to win the cup for Aberdeen. He's made up for it today. And it's ended up being a really successful season when it really didn't look like it would be the case. And of all those low points, losing out to Kairat Almaty of Kazakhstan in the Champions League playoff. The League Cup final defeat, struggling in the league as well. And what a week it's been for O'Neill. Callum McGregor will get a chance to lift the trophy. Last year's was the first time he'd lost a cup final at youth or senior level. And as was the case for the presentation last week, it's those two who are last up. A fourth Scottish Cup for Martin O'Neill, a seventh for Callum McGregor. It's been a wonderful career. They're going to lift the trophy on the pitch. This doesn't seem right, does it?
I'm not a fan. I like the captain getting up first, lifting the trophy, passing it along and having the moment there. I understand we've got a little platform on the pitch, but I like the traditional trophy lift.
James Forrest now the joint top of the Scottish Cup Roll of Honour, joining another Celtic legend in Bobby Lennox there. He of course usurped him as the most decorated player in the club's history. And he's won his 8th Scottish Cup today. As I said, Callum McGregor 7th for Celtic. It is their 43rd Scottish Cup. Celtic Scottish Cup winners yet again. It is a double. And it is the stuff of dreams for Martin O'Neill. Remarkable week in the club's history, what's been a remarkable era in the club's history. Who knows when it ends? If it ends, they will enjoy every moment when it comes along. It is Celtic, as it normally is. James McFadden, final thoughts?
Yeah, well, they come in as heavy favourites. Celtic, they get the job done. Martin O'Neill in your picture there, what a job he's done getting this team. I know that people look and say Celtic should be winning leagues and they should be winning cups, and it's not a great achievement for the squad of players that they have, but from where they've been at different points of this season, for Martin O'Neill to guide them to a double is quite incredible from his point of view. And who knows, is it going to be the last time we see him, or is there some talks to happen whether Martin O'Neill will be the manager in charge next season?
Would you keep him?
Well, he's shown he's more than capable. He's shown he's given him a... He's re-energised Martin O'Neill and given him, you know, probably the best feeling in his life as a manager, because he'd been out of it for so long, probably felt that his time in the dugout would have been far, far over. He's certainly shown that there is a place for him. Man management style, absolutely outstanding from him this season.
Much for O'Neill and Maloney to celebrate Iheanacho and McGregor. It was Maida, it was Engels, it was Iheanacho. It finished Celtic 3, Dunfermline Athletic 1.